All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Kava and Kettlebells. This is Charles.
Hey, guys. This is Heidi. If you haven't already, go ahead and take 5 seconds and like this episode, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Kava_kettlebells, share with your friends and family, and really help us get this message out. All right.
Okay. So you landed here at this video today. You clicked it. You're here. What are we talking about? You came here because you wanted a non-alcohol alternative. Well, luckily for you, we have it. It is called Kava.
Yeah. So what is Kava? And no, it is not the Mediterranean fast food that you're so excited and thinking about.
Which we still haven't had.
Yeah, we haven't had, but everyone says that to us. So I know what you're thinking.
So that Kava, the restaurant is C-A-V-A. We are talking about the other Kava, K-A-V-A. Now, what the heck is Kava? So Kava is actually a plant that originates out in Oceania. So we're talking about the Pacific Islands. So Kava is harvested in places like Hawaii, Tonga, Vanuatu, and Fiji. Now, what does it do? So Kava, what it does is it hits your GABA receptors in your brain, just like alcohol does. But here's the thing. Kava does not impair you. It's not going to get you drunk. It's not going to get you blacked out. So you're not going to be texting your ex at 2 a.m.
Scrolling Instagram and liking things you shouldn't be.
No. So although it does affect your GABA receptors, what it does is it hits them. So it gives you the same feeling some of the alcohol does, right? So it's going to, help you relax. It's going to, be that social lubricant. So if you have anxiety, or even if you're going to a party and you want to have a good time, but you don't want to drink, boom, you got Kava.
Yeah, and we love Kava. We started getting into it because Charles was in the Air Force, and alcohol is huge in the Air Force, but it wasn't for us. We have a very fitness-oriented lifestyle, and the gym doesn't care what you drank last night. You're going to wake up hungover, and that's not good, for the gym. So we were looking for an alternative to still hang out, at the end of the day, unwind, hang out with our kids, and not be impaired and not have those side effects. And that's when we found Kava. And especially for those parents out there, it has been so amazing to be able to wind down at the end of the day and still be present with our kids. I know parents out there who slam a bottle of wine and drink a bunch of beer, and you can't argue that it changes who you are. Like when you are drinking alcohol, especially in massive amounts, it changes who you are. It changes, the way that you respond, and kids sense that, and it makes them uncomfortable. Kava is not like that. Kava just makes you happy. It relaxes you. It starts conversation. It makes you more, open to talking to your kids. Kids have a million questions and just constantly want to talk. This helps you handle that.
But even if you're not a parent, even if you're someone who you're just looking for an out, let's just say, okay, we all know alcohol is bad, right? When it comes to so many things, we know that it affects the brain. It affects your metabolism. So if you're trying to do a healthy lifestyle, it's going to mess up your sleep. It's going to mess up your metabolism, like I just said. So your body's going to be fighting twice as hard those nights or those weekends that you're drinking a bunch of alcohol. It obviously makes you do stupid stuff and it impairs you, there's a time and a place for alcohol. We were young once, but looking back, had I known about Kava, I wouldn't have touched alcohol, because Kava, when you drink it, it makes you feel really good. Okay. And here's the thing. It's not going to get you high, like cannabis. It's not a psychedelic mushroom. It's psychoactive because of the ingredients in it, which I'll get into here in a second, but it's not going to impair you. So you can drink a bunch of Kava. You're going to feel really good. You might be a little giggly. You're going to be more sociable, but you're never going to get to the point to where you're not in your mind.
Yeah. And I think that is huge, because part of the benefit of Kava is how it brings people together. So Kava was originally used when tribes would, instead of battling each other, they had a disagreement, instead of fighting each other, they would sit down and they would have a Kava circle. And like I said, it opens up that communication. You drink it, you feel relaxed, you feel happier, and you feel like talking more. And they would just talk it out. And like, what a beautiful thing. I wish our politicians now would do it. That would be amazing.
For real.
And they would talk it out, and because it brings that communication. So Kava is all about community, and you're drinking and you remember everyone you meet. You remember what you talk about. That's not like that when you drink alcohol. You go to a party and you get wasted, you don't remember shit. Like nope. You're blacking out. And Kava is not like that. Like it opens you up and it allows you to remember the people you meet and remember the conversations you have, that's awesome.
Yeah. And like Heidi was just saying, so originally, again, Kava comes from the Pacific Islands, okay? And over there, it grows because it needs a tropical environment, and it does very well in those areas. And what you do is the Kava plant, its actual name is Piper methysticum. It actually comes from the pepper plant family. Now, these Kava plants grow pretty big, but what you actually harvest is the roots. So underneath that plant, when you go under the ground, there's these big roots of the Kava plant that come out. You harvest those roots, you take them, you grind them up to a nice powder, and then you strain that powder with water to make a drink. And I'm actually holding it's called a shell of Kava. That's a common term. If you go to like a Kava bar, they'll say like, hey, shell's up, or do you want a shell of Kava? And it makes this kind of muddy looking water, and that's what you drink. And you can flavor it with other things. Again, Kava bars in the United States are becoming more and more popular. We live down here in Florida where Kava bars are like Starbucks.
Yeah, it's like the Mecca down here, Southwest Florida.
And what Kava bars are, they're a sober space, right? So you can go to Kava bars, and if you're used to alcohol bars, when you go into a Kava bar, it looks somewhat similar. You're going to just have a bar, right? You have places to hang out. You're going to have pool tables, couches, games, all that kind of stuff. But it's a completely different atmosphere and vibe. Again, like how you were saying, you drink Kava, there's not going to be bar fights. There's not going to be disagreements. You just feel good. You want to talk to people. You're feeling more sociable, all this kind of stuff, right? And Kava bars are really cool for that reason, because again, it gives you that social environment like you would with like an alcohol bar. But instead of drinking alcohol, which is straight up poison, you're having Kava.
And we've all been, if you've been to a bar before, we went to bars when we were younger, and they're awkward. Like you walk in and you're waiting, especially if your friends aren't there yet, and you feel so awkward, and if you're a girl, you're trying not to be hit on by the guys, and then you finally find your friends and you're just trying to do your thing, and but you accidentally bump into someone. Charles, this has happened to us many times where we accidentally bump into someone, and fights are going to happen because again, alcohol agitates you. It instigates that sort of stuff. It's not like that in a Kava bar. A Kava bar, you walk in, everyone is welcome, they're friendly. The Kava bar Kava tender is gonna have a conversation with you. They're gonna find out your story, figure out, why you're here, what are your desired results, figure out the perfect, botanical for you to be drinking, and then they're gonna help you have a really good experience. And it's crazy because when you have the word bar in it, people get a little confused, but it's such a pleasant, welcoming atmosphere. And if you haven't been to one, definitely recommend checking out a local one.
But you also don't need to go to a Kava bar, so you can make Kava at home.
Yes.
And again, going back, this Kava is completely legal in the United States. There's no restrictions on it. It's sold as a dietary supplement, so you can get this on Amazon. You can go to a Kava vendor's website and order this directly to your home. You can make it at home. Now, typically it comes in different forms, okay? So you're going to have like what's called your traditional grind or your medium grind. And that's that root that's ground up into a powder, and you have to strain it with a bag and water. Or you're going to have micronized Kava. Now that takes that powder a little step further, and it grinds it up even more fine. And that's super easy. You just mix it with water and drink it. You can also get Kava in tinctures, like you see with a lot of other herbs out there. So it comes like in a little dropper form. You can get them in capsules. And you can also get what's called instant Kava. And that's Kava that's already been made, but then they dehydrate it And it's truly an instant kava. With that too, just like the micronized, you just mix it with a spoon and drink it. Now, kava, again, it's not a psychedelic, but psychoactive. And it has these things in it called kava lactones. And there's 6 major kava lactones in kava that give it its effects. And when we talk about kava, we talk about cultivars. That's the different types of kavas out there. And I like to kind of compare kava to cannabis in the fact that you're going to have kind of like your more indicas and your more sativas. So you're going to have your kava that's a little bit more uplifting and euphoric, better for socializing. Then you're going to have your kava that's a little bit more, for the end of the night when you're trying to sleep and just like really just relax, watch a movie. You got kavas for that. And then you got balance, which is right there in between. So overall, though, all kava is going to relax you. It's going to help you sleep at the end of the day. It's going to have little to no side effects. That's one of the great things about kava. And especially for us, we're really into working out and fitness. It's awesome. It gives you an amazing sleep. So we sleep great that night. We wake up the next day ready for the gym. Doesn't affect your metabolism. There's no calories in it. There's no carbs, no sugar, unless you're mixing it with stuff, which you can do. And some kava bars will make, special like mocktails with kava. But overall, it's got so many benefits. It helps with inflammation, helps with recovery, helps with anxiety. It truly is a miracle plant. And again, you can use this as an alcohol alternative.
Yeah, and just like any botanical, everyone's body is going to respond a little bit differently to it. So there are 2 different types, like we said. There's more, just for simplicity's sake, more of like a nighttime kava and more of a daytime kava. It's also called heady or heavy. Those are words that you'll hear. And I always remember that heavy is more nighttime because your eyes are getting really heavy and ready for sleep. And then heady is more of a daytime. But again, just because something is labeled or it has, the right properties to be more daytime or nighttime, your body might respond very differently to it. So even if your best friend tries it and it works great for them for the daytime, you might try it and it might be more of a nighttime for you. So always try it out first, see how your body responds to it, and just know that with all botanicals, everyone's body chemistry is going to respond a little bit differently to it. And that's okay. That's normal.
Yeah. Now, so how do we use kava? Again, so we're parents, we're in our mid-30s, so we're not, again, we're not going out to bars and stuff, but we like to make kava at home because, again, we gave up alcohol a long time ago, especially once we found kava. There was literally, I can't think of one reason why I would drink alcohol when I have kava.
Yeah, and I think I've had, a glass of wine here or there at like a holiday or family get together. And honestly, like I just feel, even just from one glass, I get a headache and I just feel so gross. It's just,
like shit.
Yeah, like it's not worth it because it's a poison. And so for us, it's not worth it.
No. So once we found kava, for us, again, you don't need to go to a kava bar. Make this at home. That's how we've primarily done it.
Yeah.
In the evenings, we'll make up kava, before dinner, and we'll drink it. It makes us nice and relax, has good conversation, takes away all that stress and anxiety from the day and just washes away. And then that night, because again, kava does help you sleep. So later that night, we have an amazing sleep. Wake up the next day nice and refreshed. I'm not hungover. I'm not craving bad foods.
Yeah.
And if anything, I feel better for the next day.
Yeah, so kava, in our opinion, really is, like that miracle plant that we're able to find, and we're super grateful for that. And yeah, it doesn't give you the hangover effect. And so I think the biggest benefit, like I said, that we found is just our ability to hang out with our kids, be present with our kids, and remember, that time the next day.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, what we love to do, and even like on date nights or day dates, we'll go hit up a kava bar. It's awesome because again, it's like going to, a sociable place, and the kava tenders will, make you the kava there. And, depending on the kava bar, they all got their own themes to them. And we'll just sit and just relax and drink kava and have a good conversation. We might meet friends at the kava bar. Because again, kava, it's a community thing. And it's one of those things where if you haven't heard about it or haven't really seen it, you don't quite know until you go check it out. So I would highly recommend, looking up to see if you have a kava bar, near you. But if you don't, no big deal. Like, again, like I said, order some kava online, make it at home, have it with your significant other, your partner, your friends, your family, whatever it might be. And, experience that. And like, I promise you, if you try kava, the more you drink it, you'll see how good it makes you feel, not only in the moment, but again, no hangovers, no messing with your mind, no throwing up, none of that stuff, right? And your craving for alcohol will more than likely go out the window.
So there are a couple things that you need to know before you do try kava though. Number one, the first thing that people say is, oh my gosh, my tongue. Your tongue will get this numbing sensation. And that's good. That's a good thing. That's a normal thing. That means you got a good kava. So I don't want that to throw you if you feel this numbing sensation. The other thing about kava, which actually when you think about it is really cool, but kava has a reverse tolerance. This is really important for you to remember because the first few times you try kava, you might not feel its full effects. And I don't want that to push you away. What I mean by reverse tolerance is, when you think of alcohol, you think of the term a lightweight. So if you don't drink alcohol often, you have like one drink and you already feel the effects. You feel, drunk or inhibited. It's the opposite with kava. If you don't drink it often, you need a lot in order to feel those effects. Now, the plus of that is the more you drink it, the less you need. So because we drink it so often, we have 1 or 2 shells and we're good. So if you drink it consistently, you don't have to drink as much, and that saves, the pocketbook as well. But I don't want you to feel, the first time you try kava, if you're not really feeling it, I don't want you to throw in the towel and say like, this stuff is junk. Like, what are they talking about? It just may take time. You may just need to drink more, or you just may need to do it a few more different days so that it can really build up in your system and you can, feel those full effects.
And also too, I know some people might be like, well, does it show up in the drug test? So kava does not show up in drug tests unless you specifically test for kava lactones. But I've only heard that in very extreme cases. For instance, like rehab centers where the person cannot be consuming anything. Okay?
Yeah.
Like anything. So your standard drug tests, like from employers, from workplaces. Again, I was active duty for 11 years. I drank kava all through it.
He was also drug tested an awful lot.
Okay, all the time. So if you're worried about, the legal ramifications, again, kava is completely legal in the United States. There's no restrictions or bans against it, and it does not show up in a standard drug test. So again, it is sold as a dietary supplement, just like you would see like creatine or protein powder, collagen peptides, whatever the hotness is out there right now for supplements.
So now kava, I know it sounds like amazing, right? You're like, what am I waiting for? Like, I'm so ready to get going. Kava, also, you should be prepared. It doesn't have the best taste, traditional kava.
No.
You hear the phrase, like you're drunk or you're high. Well, for kava, you hear I'm muddy or I'm kava-fied. And so you drink it for the feeling, you're not drinking it for the taste. But there are a lot of the big popular thing that's booming right now is kava seltzer beverages. So you can have kava extracts. I don't think it feels quite the same. It does feel good, but I think having the medium grind is going to give you the best full effects. But if you're a little nervous and you want to ease into it with some kava seltzer beverages, you can also do that. We do tons of reviews, so check out our reviews for what medium grinds as well as what seltzer beverages, look appealing to you. Maybe you want to try that out first. That's okay. You can do that and just sort of ease your way into the medium grind.
So yeah, we've been doing this podcast, Kava and Kettlebells, for over 2.5 years now. So if you're new to this, please go check out our YouTube. We have reviews. We have other episodes. Also, you can find us on audio on Spotify. We have tons of episodes going back, again, like I said, over 2 years. But to close it up, again, if you made it this far in the video, you're probably interested about Kava. Go check out Kava. Again, if you have a Kava bar by you, great. Go visit it. If you don't, no big deal. Go on Amazon. Go, just Google Kava vendors, and you'll have, you kind of your big ones come up. Again, you want to look for a medium grind or a micronizer, an instant. Those two you just mix with water with a spoon versus the medium grind. You got to use a strainer bag. You got to strain it up. Or you can get, Kava capsules, Kava tinctures, or like how you mentioned, there's a lot more Kava seltzers out there right now that are flavored, taste really good. They use a Kava extract. So there's lots of options now because Kava is becoming pretty popular here in the United States as an alcohol alternative. So this space is just growing.
Yeah, it's really booming. You can also follow us on Instagram at Kava_kettlebells. If you have any questions, you can DM us and we're very responsive and we can answer them all. And again, we have tons of reviews both on our YouTube and our Instagram. All right, so when you go into a Kava bar, you will hear, let's raise our shells for a bula. Now, bula is a Fijian term that it essentially means warmth, happiness, good health, and community. And so that is often what you will hear, and it's in place of a cheers. So we always like to end our episodes with a bula.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys. Bula.
Bula.
Welcome to Kava and Kettlebells, where we talk about Kava, fitness, and life. Let's get Kava-fied.